Hey, it's a Thursday. It's Rumor and Innuendo. I'm Dominic D'Angelo of AdFreeShows.com, SEScoops.com, Podcast Heat Wrestling, and I'm here with Mr. Robert Karplus, WD Creative _ish, and his dog Marty. Robert, how are you? Happy Thursday to you.
Happy Thursday to you. Happy Thursday to everyone joining us live all around the globe. Wanna Breeze says, hello, R&I. Welcome to the show that talks about the 90s and 2000s movies and TV. And if there's any time left, some AEW. That certainly was the case yesterday. That's for sure.
Yes, it was. Definitely the case.
Johnny Disco continuing that by saying, good day, R&I. After watching yesterday's R&I, I keep picturing late 90s DX Triple H on a treadmill watching Saved by the Bell. What have I unleashed,
I don't know. Mr. Bellstring, he needs to get on a treadmill too. Nowadays.
Mr. Who?
Dennis had. Mr. Bellstring, is that his name?
Mr. Belding.
Mr. Belding.
Devin Dowling throwing us in. Yeah, Devin Dowling throwing us in. Ayo, Devin, nice to see you here. As Tony Gong was asking, am I the only one here today? No, Tony, you got here early. But we're happy you joined us whenever, wherever, however you joined us. If you're watching us live on the various platforms, or watching us later, or listening to us on the audio version on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your audio podcast, we've got a heck of a show for you today.
Lots to cover today, particularly AEW Dynamite and the show they had in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hey, were you shocked, Robert, that JR was on the whole card?
I was surprised that JR was on and that he behaved right up until the end.
Right up until the end, basically. Yes. But yes, Robert, I mean, it's not a far throw to say that this was the best AEW Dynamite of the year, 2026.
I see what you did there. I thought this was a really great episode of Dynamite for sure. Actually, I just covered it with Scott Chaplin. With Scott Chaplin. So Dom, that should actually be sitting in your inbox. You'll be able to upload that shortly. But I think the general takeaway that I had from this show was it felt like the segments were important and meaningful and moving storylines forward, which is everything that we were sort of very critical of Monday Night Raw being. The ending lights out stuff could have been, I think, handled a little better. And I think the Marina Shafir match was kind of along the same lines of what we were concerned about that one being. But overall, very solid outing from our friends at All Elite Wrestling.
Yes, I completely agree with you. So let's get to it. Let's dive into the weeds. But the show started off. Oh my God, where's the results at? Why am I blanking? Help me out, Robert. How'd the show start off?
Stand by. This is why I
hold on a second.
I just put my notes away. That's fine. It opened with footage of Jet Speed having been attacked by Jake something is now in AEW. I wasn't quite sure. Jake Doyle. I wasn't sure we were supposed to know who Jake something actually was.
That's kind of part of the little bit of the issue, I think. I thought he has such a high ceiling for years, like in TNA, and I just was a head scratcher why TNA didn't push him more to the moon than what they did. And so here he is in AEW as Jake Doyle. He's kind of like just a grunting side guy with Mark Davis right now, but I sure hope they use him a lot more. But he's one of the many members of the Don Callis family currently.
He definitely is one of many members of the Don Callis family, which is tremendous. But nice way to debut him. I was a little confused when they're like, "Oh, it's Jake something," and I was like, "Wait, has he been on AEW TV before?" He was on like briefly years ago, but didn't quite understand that. A lot of people in the Don Callis family. Two men who are not in the Don Callis family: Jon Moxley and Shelton Benjamin.
Holy cats, Robert! Love this match, and wasn't too particularly fond of the finish, to be honest, but these guys can go, and I thought it was a good highlight for Moxley to show his diversity in the ring, and obviously Shelton Benjamin's on another level, even at this age.
So it was a definite turn back the clock situation with both Shelton Benjamin and Jon Moxley. Both of those guys absolutely knocked it out of the park in there. This was a way to establish the rules for this Continental title. And I was disappointed in a good way when this was over that Moxley got the win with 5 seconds to go, because it was like, well, damn, I wanted to see these guys go at it again.
Well, that's kind of my point. I thought, like, why not have it go to the end and then you continue this feud with them?
Because I like the idea of establishing, not everyone's going to be able to last the full 20 minutes, and Moxley is fighting to stop them from getting that shot. So I didn't hate that. What did my hear? Oh, it was on your end.
Oh,
I thought
it's
that was on my side. I
coffee.
thought I realized now. Yeah, someone was brewing a nice cup of Joe. There's a big demand for it, and then we saw the demand as they took on Jack Perry and his new tag team partner since Jet Speed were out, the Young Bucks.
Hmm. Up and comers, you think?
Get out of town.
Robert, I like this match. I like the finish too a lot for certain reasons. Oh, I can explain.
Enlighten me,
Like,
Don.
yeah, so Young Bucks help out Jack Perry, and I think I can kind of loosely connect, and they kind of did on the show too, of making this make sense of something we've been critical of when it comes to the storyline between Jack Perry and the Young Bucks. If Kenny Omega was the mediator, I think that can kind of I can buy into it more. The fact that the Young Bucks pinned Ricochet instead of the rest of the Demand sets up a good tag team feud potentially between the Demand and the Young Bucks, and then you also continued this feud between Ricochet and Jack Perry. So I like the outcome of this match, Robert.
I thought match made sense. Outcome made sense, that we want to see Jack Perry try to get an opportunity again at Ricochet's national title. After the match, Mark Davis and Jake Doyle
Mm-hmm.
rules,
Rules.
made their attack. And then we saw Andrade return to AEW, which was an interesting surprise. So I guess they got all of that, let's hope, sorted out. And then at the top of the ramp, you had FTR looking on. So we're sort of establishing a lot of storylines there. You have the Bucks out there. You had Jet Speed out there. Davis and Doyle, attorneys at law, were out there. Andrade is now back, so I guess he's going to be intermixed in this situation with Jack Perry and Ricochet. A lot of intrigue coming out of this match.
A lot of intrigue, a little bit of concern too at the same time, because we know how this all gets mixed up and people get lost in the shuffle, particularly in AEW. So they don't have a great track record of following through with some of this stuff. So we'll see how it goes though. But yeah, intriguing nonetheless. Made me think about, like, hey, if you're making Andrade make his return, I would have. I mean, they kind of did something a little bit later on, but I would have paired him with a particular somebody else later on. But we'll talk about that when we get to it. Uh, Up next, Robert, what we have?
Up next was
Trying to look.
Willow Nightingale
Yes.
delivering a promo with Harley Cameron and Chris Statlander.
Hmm.
I like Willow Nightingale quite a bit. I really hate that she has the two belts, and literally the fact that you had Harley Cameron actually standing in the dark in the corner highlighted the biggest problem that I had with this, which is we've really marginalized these women's tag team titles.
Yeah, I really agree with you on that. I also agree. I mean, maybe you don't think this, but I think this too. Having Mercedes Monet come out, do the cake spot and stuff like that, it doesn't. It just makes her feel so much lesser than, I think, and you're just not putting her in the right position as they've done for since she's really debuted in a lot of ways. And I think that's a concerning thing going on too. But I like the promo Willow cut. I thought that was great.
The promo Willow cut was fine. You knew someone was going to wind up in the cake because it's wrestling and someone's always going to wind up in the cake. But this just sort of felt like now the TBS title is her most important focus, and the women's tag titles are not at all front and center.
Right. It does create a little bit of concern there for sure.
Keep
Uh,
in mind, this was the Dynamite of the year, according to the name of this episode. But
that's what I
good
thought.
stuff. Just a lot of questions where it's, yeah, we're going to get a Willow Mercedes rematch, which I think will be just fine. But I don't quite see how this helps the tag division or justifying why they went ahead and put the tag titles on Willow and Harley to begin with, when you could have gone with Mina Shirakawa and Tony Storm, who seem a little sort of lost in the woods, and someone who was actually wandering out in the woods was Mark Briscoe.
That's correct.
Got a promo
Always love a
about
Mark Briscoe promo.
Hechicero.
Hmm. I didn't know
which,
that they were feuding necessarily. Did you?
well, it's going to take place on Collision. They set it up from what happened, I guess, on Collision last week. This was totally fine, and this is a way to build up the TNT title, which is I'm going to defend it on Collision. I'm going to defend it on TNT. Let's make this match seem like it makes sense. And this was the kind of promo that talks you into the building. Continental Classic
Tell
is
you,
over. He's there to fight. By golly, let's fight.
tell you what, I think that's the best looking title that AEW has currently. Is that TNT version of the Mark Briscoe version of the TNT Championship. I like it.
It ain't bad.
Ain't too shabby. Ain't too shabby. After that, Robert, we had Bandito taking on Sammy Guevara, and I love this match, Robert. I thought it was a really fun finish. The two guys really went in the ring, and match of the year so far for me. But what'd you think?
It was a hell of a match. I think the thing with Sammy Guevara that always winds up happening whenever I see him out there is I just always wish that this is the time where he's going to stay the course. He's not going to do anything that's going to upend his push or confidence in the company with allowing him to be featured on television. This is now sort of the third or fourth iteration that we've seen of, hey, Sammy's here. Hopefully he doesn't bungle this. And then Lucy pulls the football away and Charlie Brown goes flying. This was a hell of a match. Jim Ross, again, pointing out that Sammy Guevara reminds him of a young Eddie Guerrero, which is not far off at all. Bandito looked excellent out there. And then the post-match situation with MJF was tremendous.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's such a fun overall match and segment combined together. With Sammy, it's like maybe this Edward version of him, era of him, might be a little like get him on the right track. We'll find out. But I liked it.
E joining us now, throwing a was up with 10 Z's because he said that
Yeah,
R&I is a 10 out of 10. We will definitely take that. This MJF promo was a 10 out of 10. I think
I did.
bringing the translator out there, bringing up the success that he had in CMLL, how many times he has sold out Arena Mexico, really, really strong. Bandito's like, I speak English was fantastic. This was a good reveal. It made you excited for this match next week where we don't anticipate there being a new champion, but this is sort of AEW's version of the Braun Breaker CM Punk match where it's, hey, let's see what Bandito is going to do in there with a world champion and how the audience is going to take that ride.
And I had initial concern of this too, Robert, when the show kicked off because they did a video package with Kenny Omega talking about like wanting the world title, and it's all about him and MJF. So it's like, are you forgetting about Bandito? But this was a great follow up. Did you recognize who the translator was, Robert?
No.
He's the guy that is the meme with Samoa Joe walking away. He was the one that when Samoa Joe was walking away and he's diving, it's the guy like shrugging.
Oh, okay. That's kind of fun.
So good stuff, good usage of it all. Yeah, best match and segment of the night, in my opinion.
And the fun stops there because we got Marina Shafir versus Tony Storm. We had said yesterday, this needed to be a lot shorter. And this match felt like it went for about 9-10 hours. This was interminable. The conglomeration with Tony Storm feels like we don't know what the hell to do with her. Again, it's probably why they should have been women's tag team champions because her and Mina Shirakawa could at least be doing something on AEW programming. The finish was kind of lame with the pulling the referee out, which never winds up being a disqualification, but in this case it is. And this feels like such a C-level story for the Death Riders.
I agree in that respect. I also agree that the match was too long. If they tightened it up, it would have been a better match, honestly. And on top of it, too, I thought it was helped. I just like the dichotomy between Tony Storm and Marina. On top of it, too, what else was I going to say regarding this match? Oh, I was okay with I like the pairing of Tony Storm and Orange Cassidy. I think there's some stuff you can really do with that, more so than her and Mina Shirakawa together. I think there's just more synergy and kind of fun chemistry you can create more with her and Orange Cassidy.
It's two fun sports entertainment-y characters going out and having a good time. Yes, I think you can do something with it, but it does have a ceiling.
It sure does. Yeah, definitely.
Something else I think that has a ceiling is this Darby Allin Pac situation. it's very hard to take it seriously that Darby is singularly focused on facing Pac when you have the rest of the Death Riders in this conglomeration feud, and John Moxley seems to be a babyface now.
Yeah, yeah. This is a head scratcher for me, Robert. Like the fact that like Darby is so adamant to get to Pac, and if you just took that from like that segment alone, like doesn't Pac look like the babyface in this whole situation? Like Darby
100%.
attacked him from behind with the fire extinguisher, threatened
Pac's
to bash his
argument
leg into him.
of yeah, Pac's argument of I beat you twice. I don't have anything to prove against you. I got other stuff to do. So you spray me with a fire extinguisher and then threaten to break my ankle.
Yeah, makes zero sense. It's
Well,
worst segment of the night for me
logic
on that one.
thrown out the window for the main event. The lights went out, and then when they kind of turned back on, uh, we got Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland versus Hobbs and Hook. Dom, do you know how cinder blocks work?
Yes, I'm aware.
Because the folks in AEW do not know how cinder blocks work. There were about 4 or 5 different instances in this match where I'm going, oh, this is not only the finish of the match, this guy's got to be on the shelf for a year. And then they were just back up and going.
Yeah, a little nuts. Just like I understand the point that you want to hammer home. It's like a lights out match, so everything goes basically. But when you do that, you kind of don't suspend the disbelief, so to speak, and it takes you out of the element of the whole match entirely, and just it making sense. And then the finish itself, Robert, was very like, all right, this is too much. You're putting hats on hats on hats, and even JR. I was all with JR in that. Like, it's like enough's enough. Like, just end it here. This is too much, and it was too much, I think.
There was way too much stuff that was done. I hated the dojo guys because they did not look like they belong. Like they all felt like absolute clowns, like the kind of people that a guy like Samoa Joe wouldn't even associate with, let alone let them wear his shirt. Um, I hated the dead eye onto the cinder blocks because Hangman lands on his knees onto the cinder blocks and completely no sells it.
No, I thought the exact same thing. He just his knees are fine. It's just ridiculous, ridiculous stuff. It's yeah. I mean, and ultimately, what does it serve? I just don't think it helps Hook or Powerhouse Hobbs. It does, I mean, like, you get to hammer home the point, your baby faces win, and they're some of your top guys in the company. But other than that, you do that any other way, too. It just,
No
yeah,
Shibata,
nuts.
no Joe. It was just, yeah, we got our win in a lights out match. Okay.
Mhm.
It was fine. It was a solid show. It was a strong main event. If you were there live, you got to see something big. But it's a where are we going from here?
Devin Dowling adds that Swerve hit Keith Lee with the cinder block, and we haven't seen him again.
They get very flimsy with it. Remember, Dustin Rose got hit with a cinder block and then still made it into the ring and still wrestled and I think won the match, if I'm not mistaken, or at least was
Wait.
viable in it.
Hey, no Eddie Kingston.
No Eddie Kingston in this. Again, where I thought Shibata and Joe, I could have seen an Eddie Kingston interference here in some form or fashion. Instead, Nana got involved, which
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't necessarily want that guy having to go take some bumps. But I guess he was there and available. And speaking of things that are available, over on Netflix, been some
Mhm.
moves as far as the WWE PLE library.
Correct, Robert. This has been something that was announced on Monday, but the PLE library is going to be available on Netflix. I thought it was going to be more, like maybe the whole kind of library, but it's strictly the PLE library. Um, what do you think this speaks to the relationship of Netflix? Is this a good move on WWE's part to kind of move it over there instead of putting it on YouTube? Well, I guess the PLE library would make more sense to be on a platform, but do you think Netflix is the right place for it?
Absolutely. Look, I think that we're in a world right now where people turn on their television and immediately just fire up Netflix to see what's on there. And I feel like if you have time and you're bored and you're scrolling around or you're a casual fan or a lapsed fan or an old fan and you see, oh man, I can go watch Royal Rumble 2004. Yeah, I'm going to put that on and just
Mhm.
put that on for an afternoon. And the way that people tend to randomly binge watch a lot of other programming that's available on there. I don't think they do the same with a Peacock or a Paramount Plus or even a Hulu. I just think Netflix is sort of designed for scrolling and binging. So this seems like a great opportunity for WWE to pull in some more old school casual fans who maybe haven't watched in a while, and they might not necessarily be like, man, I'm going to go sit down and watch this week's episode of Raw, but I'll take a nostalgia trip. I'll go watch WrestleMania 17.
I think it makes a lot of sense too, Robert. And like the kind of added incentive to it all too is if you put your regular programming, the historical program like Raw and stuff on your W Vault, you have those people tuning in to watch that. Oh, I gotta tune into Netflix to actually catch the PLE to complete what I'm watching too. So you can get the ardent nerds really tuning in as well. So I like the
Absolutely.
move.
And I think it's going to be a big win for your co-host, Rob Van Dam, because I think there's a lot of people who are going to watch this sort of recent past, and they're going to be like, oh man, wonder what Rob Van Dam's doing now. And they're going to look up, they're going to go see that he's got his podcast, tune in, watch, listen, go see him at a convention, buy some of his merch. I think it's a pretty cool opportunity for the WWE.
It's a great point too, no doubt about it. Also on tap, Robert, wanted to get your thoughts on this. We kind of talk about this on a monthly basis. Is the PLE length when it comes? Bruce Pritchard. So we got some cross synergy here with ad-free shows and podcast heat. Something to wrestle with. He addressed this. He says, "I go back in time. 10 matches on a card is hard to watch. When you look at the presentation and you put so many things in a 10-match card, at the end of the night, what do you remember? You're most likely going to remember the main event, but there have been an angle and a third match and a hell of a match, but you have forgotten because you haven't seen so much of the other SHIT. Good, bad, or indifferent, I think less is more." He also adds, "Sometimes you have to battle that demon of, we have to get more people on this. The PLE streaming aspect of the business has changed that completely. Talent is not paid on pay-per-view buys. There's no time allotment. They don't really want more than 3 hours. It's a different time and a different way people consume." So completely subscribe to what Bruce is saying here. Robert, do you have any qualms with what your former coworker had to say?
No, I think his take on the PLEs are absolutely spot on. They're not charging you 30, 40, $50 for the pay-per-views, the PLEs, whatever it may be. It's bundled as part of your subscription for ESPN Unlimited or Netflix or wherever you are in the world, and you're able to consume them. The shows are still selling out. So fans are still paying money and showing up in attendance. They feel like they are getting their money's worth for a 3-hour show that has 5 big matches that are built up over a period of time. You're going to see some stars on them. You're going to see some memorable moments. It is a very sort of, they go where the business is going. And if the audience right now is accepting a 5-match show, and those 5 matches have at least 1 or 2 memorable moments to them, they're generally a success. They're a lot easier to watch. We criticize to some extent those AEW pay-per-views because they are charging 30, 40, $50 for them. They want to feel like we're really giving you your money's worth. But when you have a 12, 13 match show, you do forget things. When it's a 5-match PLE, 4-match PLE, which is most likely what we're going to see for Royal Rumble, those do tend to be a little bit more impactful. So I don't think that Bruce is terribly far off. And the other point of it is that with the PLEs, there is no hard out. It doesn't have to be 3 hours every time. Doesn't have to be 2 hours and 45 minutes or whatever it is. Just like this show doesn't have to be 30 minutes every single day. In fact, we're going to wrap this up just a few minutes early today. But fear not, for you can catch us tomorrow at noon Eastern, as you can every Monday through Friday, on a plethora of platforms, including the WW Creative _ISH X account, the @Dominic D'Angelo X account, the @SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Rumor and Innuendo, Podcast Heat, and ad-free shows. So on behalf of the pinkest co-host I've ever had, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
I'll take that as a compliment. Pink Panther for life. Shh.